You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 27th, 2025 meeting of the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening. I would like to call the January 27th Historic Preservation meeting to order. The first order of business will be the roll call. Joyce Dalton. Dan Granquist. Here. Dwayne Hurt. Here. Absent. Larry Zimmer. Absent. Amy Bowman.
Here.
Greg Coulter. Absent. Pat Batsey.
Here.
Anthony Hicks. Here. Deb Parcell.
Here.
Kyle Anthony Petter. Present. How should we do this? So the next will.
Please note that I'm present as well, although remotely.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Steve Hale.
I'm present remotely.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I think you just.
Okay, so the next thing that we will do is call for nominations for president. Do we have anyone who would like to elect?
I will nominate Joyce Dalton.
I'll second that. Okay, so we're gonna do this by a name vote. So Joyce Dalton. Well, I guess you can't vote for yourself. Okay. Dan Granquist. Yes. Amy Bowman.
Yes.
Pat Matsey.
Yes.
Anthony Hicks. Yes. Good job, Joyce. You are the president for the 2025 year.
For the 25th year?
For 20, maybe.
Okay. And your next nominee?
So our next nomination will be for vice president. Is there anyone who would like to provide a nomination?
And nominate Anthony Hicks.
No.
Is there a second?
I have a second nomination.
Okay.
I nominate Dan Granquist.
Second.
Okay. Let's go through the roll. Joyce Dalton.
We're voting for Dan. right?
Yes, for Dan.
Yes.
Dwayne Hurt.
Yes.
Amy Bowman.
Yes.
Pat Matsey.
Yes.
Anthony Hicks.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Dan. So our last position will be for secretary.
I nominate Anthony Hicks.
Second.
Joyce Dalton,
Yes.
Dan Granquist,
Yes.
Dwayne Hurt,
Yes.
Amy Bowman,
Yes.
Pat Matsey.
Yes.
I guess you're not voting for yourself, so congratulations, Anthony. You are our new secretary.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay.
Oh, no problem, you all. I'm excited.
Before we move forward to the agenda, I guess Joyce, you can ask if there's any revisions, but I do have a few revisions to be made.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to look over the agenda?
Yes.
I think everyone except one or two, I'm sorry, Steve, saw everything but the time.
Our new secretary was very diligent in reading everything correctly.
That's why we know.
You know, that's the teacher in me. Gotta read it line by line.
Thank you for doing that. Okay,
So I would like to add the November 25th meeting minutes to the agenda. Based upon what I could tell from our previous meeting, we talked about it, but there was never a vote on it. So I'm gonna need a vote to approve the minutes, and that was my understanding is I included that in your packet. So you should have both the minutes from the December 18th meeting as well as the November 25th meeting.
and Anthony's talking about the statement of purpose that we did not take a vote on.
Yep.
And I'm sure everyone has heard it and have a copy of it in front of them.
What's happening? I'm sorry.
We're going to vote to accept the statement of purpose. We
Oh.
did not vote on that at our last meeting and we
Yeah,
should have.
Correct.
Okay.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes,
did we have a vote on a change in the agenda and or a vote on the minutes of our last two meetings?
no, we did not.
Okay,
Okay, so we need a vote on the changing of the minutes. The agenda with the time was a change. And everyone is sorry except Anthony, because he read everything. And so we need to vote on that.
Kyle had talked about wanting to change the agenda, I thought.
Yes, because we had under the new business, we would need to move the elections up to the top after the roll call. So that would be a change in the agenda, as well as under the approval of minutes, we currently it does not include the November 25th meeting minutes, which would need to be added in there.
Well, I move that we amend the agenda for tonight's meeting to include the November 25th minutes and to move the board elections to after the roll call.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay. And then we already voted on the statement of purpose, so we've got that done. Any correspondence?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. Then we'll go to the C of A's.
Okay, the first COA is
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but don't we still need to approve those minutes as submitted? I know it's been talked about, but I'm not sure there's been a motion.
You are right. I make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted for December 18th and November 25th.
All in favor?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Steve. So now we have to really be careful because we have a teacher and an attorney and then a lawyer looking after us. Okay,
keeps us on the straight and narrow.
yes.
So the first COA that we're looking at tonight is COA 2024-145 for 431 East 8th Street. This was reviewed last month And so I don't have any pictures or anything new. You all voted to give them a 30-day extension to have someone come and assess the condition of their windows. Alicia Garska, I guess, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, was able to get out there today. She's Sustainable Retrofitting LLC, window repair person. And she submitted this letter, which they forwarded, the owner forwarded to us later today. She says, "Dear Ed, thank you for inviting me to look at your window repair project of 15 double hung wood windows. As we discussed during the site visit today, my opinion is that the existing original windows are an asset to the historic aesthetic and support the structural integrity of the house. Although the windows have had deferred maintenance and inappropriate repairs, such as caulk in place of glazing, they are in good and repairable condition. Unfortunately, I am unable to bid this project at this time, as the scope of the project is more than I have the capacity to undertake. Additionally, adding to this conclusion, the metal weather stripping track that exists on the windows does complicate the scope and is a particularly challenging step. I would recommend contacting the following window repair companies that are more experienced for such a project." And then she lists Practical Glass and More and North Coast Window Works. So both of those are links with contact info. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out. Sincerely, Alicia. So my recommendation stands. They are repairable, and I would recommend denial of replacement according to the guidelines.
We do have the applicant, if they would like, would like to speak
Like
before
to come forward?
before you guys make a vote. Absolutely.
Come up to,
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
could you state your name,
My
please?
name is Michael Hayes. I'm a design consultant for Renewal by Anderson.
Thank you.
I guess just a couple questions on my end, because I've been the gentleman that's making a lot of phone calls to many of the people that are on the approved list that just quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, won't call me back. Okay. I made 8 phone calls. I received 2 responses back. One was, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's 30 minutes from my house. It will not be cost efficient enough for me to come and give a quote." The second person just let me know that, not really something that we're interested in doing, even though they're on the approved list. So that's been my experience with trying to actually contact people to help with this project over the last 30 days. So I guess one of my questions would be, what is the acceptable rolling time frame to actually get something done to help the homeowner?
There were names that were given to you and they are not returning your calls, is what you're saying.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, that is not a good thing.
And I'll tell you, during our initial discovery, during the inspection of the windows, that little dilemma was brought to my attention, and it formed out to be true. That we're having difficulties finding people that will actually do the work, even if they come and look at the windows. So I'm just at I guess I'm at a loss for, how long does a customer have to wait? How many people does he have to contact before we could just come in and really take care of this with beautiful with windows that look like wood, that are going to actually make the home energy efficient and help with those costs of heating that very nice house. So I guess my main question is, how long do we have to continue to try to get people to do that? And if so, I guess the second part, if the cost is triple or double what it would cost to put an energy efficient window in there, is that taken into any consideration?
I have a question. So you said look like wood, but are there vinyl windows?
sir.
No.
Oh, I apologize. Shouldn't say it like that.
No, that's fine. No, that's
They're composite.
okay.
So they're
gotcha.
meant to be they
Gotcha.
replace vinyl.
Gotcha.
They
And
replace
so-
wood and vinyl. We're that company.
Okay, and so now, question for staff, is that not on the pre-approved, like, window treatment?
It is not actually on our list, although I'm not sure if they've been approved here in Michigan City for sure, but I know some commissions do approve them.
So it seems we have a precedent-setting matter
Yeah,
before us. Okay, that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or thoughts on this?
Is it outside of our boundaries to try calling these people and see if we get any response from them? Since he's had such a difficult time?
I think if, on my end at least, it would have been helpful. I was not aware of that until last week, that there was a problem getting anyone here, and I do have like secondary contacts that I can dig into if I need to. They're just not ones we hand out all the time. That's where Alicia came from. She was on my secondary list. It just turned out to be a bigger project than she can handle, but there are some others that we could dig deeper if I'd have known sooner. It's just a few days before I can't produce it, but we could make calls, definitely, yes.
I guess I'm a little confused then on our original discussion of in October, or probably November, December, that it was already mentioned to me that, yes, there's a problem trying to find people to do this work.
Right, that is true.
Oh, okay.
That is true.
We're
Which
just
is-
gonna dig deeper.
We
So
can dig
then-
deeper, but we do need to make a decision tonight because you
Okay.
can
I
only,
was just gonna,
But we
Extend it
do
30
know that
days.
There's a legitimate problem.
that
Yes,
is
yes.
absolutely true.
okay,
Yes.
so then,
I make a motion that we allow them to use this one lot, because I don't think it's fair that homeowner has to wait that long for somebody to answer back. It's not fair.
I would, well, can I,
That, have we looked at the windows that he's talking about?
Yeah,
Yes.
And what do we think about those windows?
we would agree with Alicia. They're not beyond repair. It's a matter of finding someone to
I
do
mean,
it.
the windows that they want to replace them.
That's what she's
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, we
They
don't,
are repairable, but he cannot get anyone.
Right, that's what
That will
I'm saying.
come.
right.
We know that, or I, from what I'm hearing, I understand that we don't, we've looked, or he's looked, they haven't gotten the answer that we need as this commission.
Mhm.
Have we looked at the windows that he wants to put in there?
Oh, I have seen them,
Yeah.
And
yes.
what do we say about those? And I did hear you say that some other,
In,
so can I make a suggestion
Yeah.
that we, and I don't know how this would work, but we deny this COA, right? Make on our effort or on our part, try to reach out to people that we may know. And if we don't get an answer, come back, have a special meeting, approve this, because like Dwayne said, it's costing these people a lot. It's burdensome. So, just so that we have done our part as a commission and worked with this gentleman to get the windows in. I would feel comfortable with that versus just flat out approving the windows that he wants, and then like say someone calls him back and they say, oh yeah, we can do it, and then but he's already put in other windows. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm
Would that go beyond our purview as a commission?
right. That's what I said. I don't know how that would look, but in my mind,
staff could do that. Commission cannot, but staff could do that.
I kind of feel like they've done their due diligence. They're stuck, and I would second the motion to approve the replacement of the windows.
If that's to be the case, I would recommend adding the condition that the windows be, that trade work out of South Bend, would be given the opportunity to salvage the windows, and any hardware, to make sure.
Works and
Yes.
such. Yeah.
Is that something the homeowner would agree to?
Yes.
Okay, did you hear what our motion is now, everyone? All in favor?
So I make a revised motion to Dwayne's motion that with the condition of having you said trade works
Trade works out of
and
South.
out of South Bend salvage any pieces that they can.
And Steve, you had something to say?
I just wanted to clarify that the motion is to approve the COA as submitted for replacement windows, subject to the condition that the company be given salvage rights. Am I correct?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Passed. We're sorry for all the trouble you've had, but
Obviously, ma'am, this is what these things are supposed to happen. In my opinion, the right thing happened for this man,
thank
not for
you.
me.
And thank you for hanging it.
Yes, just let us know when you're ready and then we'll get a hold
Who
of.
was the contact for that?
It will be me. Kyle's leaving.
Okay, so,
So,
just for your FYI, you should be receiving an email from me in the next week with
okay.
an installation date.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, is that suitable?
yes,
And I will
Thank you
get
very much.
TradeWorks in touch with you. Actually, Alicia's part of TradeWorks also, so
Okay,
we'll reconnect there
okay,
for
thank you very
salvage.
much.
thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, the next COA is 2025-001, very first one. For Tamara and Liam Walsh. Properties at 217 West 10th Street, rated contributing, built around 1894. My sincere apologies for this not coming to you sooner than today, but I will have to say that most of what they're asking for is able to be staff approved, so that does help a little bit. There's many parts to the project, so I broke it down into the main ones here. Number one is painting the siding and trim. Exact colors to be determined. They did have colors picked out and realized the house beside them is the same color. So that's getting changed.
Yeah.
Number two is the roof. That part has actually been staff approved since I wrote this, so we don't need to review the roof. Number three is the front porch. They're asking to repair the beadboard ceiling. You'll see photos of all this up here that we took when we were out there last week. Repairing the railing, restoring the newel posts, which are on the property but not on the porch, not where they should be on the porch. Replacing the porch deck boards with Trex or a similar composite material. Part four is the concrete walk in the front between the sidewalk and the stairs, replacing that with new concrete. Number five is the windows. Replace any existing openings with comparable style windows. And finally, number six, the back porch, adding a 3-by-3 foot landing and replacing the stairs and the non-original door. So staff recommends the following actions. The finding of fact, paint from the pre-approved color palette can be approved by staff. Matching the existing shingles has already been approved by staff. Front porch repair and replacement with materials and profiles to match the existing can be approved by staff. The wood porch deck boards are not original. Replacement with Trex or a comparable composite material meets the historic district guidelines. Replacing the concrete front walk in kind can be approved by staff. Windows do not appear to be over 50% deteriorated and should be retained and repaired. And we did have a conversation about that on site. The attic windows, there's 2 in the front and 2 on the west side. Those are vinyl replacement windows now, so they could be replaced. The front second floor slider window is vinyl, so it could also be replaced. Slider style windows are not typical on the front of Queen Anne houses and could be replaced with a more compatible style as well. The new wood stairs and landing on the rear porch meet historic district guidelines, and the rear porch door is not original and can be replaced. So the recommended motions for the paint approval with final approval of color selection by staff. The front porch repairs, approval as submitted. Replacement of front porch deck boards with Trex or similar, approval as submitted. Replacement of the concrete walk, approval as submitted. Windows, excluding the attic and the front slider, approval of repair. Attic windows, approval of replacement with final approval by staff. Front slider window, approval of replacement with final approval by staff. New landing and stairs for the rear porch, approval as submitted. And rear door, approval of replacement with final approval by staff.
Does anyone have any questions?
The owners,
And the owners are here if you guys have any questions.
Can we start with something simple? Everything that you said staff can approve, that's a go.
okay.
Things that you said repair and then staff can approve later, that's a go. Now,
Okay.
the other things, you might have to kind of go one by one,
Okay.
we doing one at a time, because otherwise I cannot remember.
Okay, well, we can group it. How about
Okay, let's
that?
group it.
So what I'm recommending approval with final approval by staff would be the paint, the front porch repairs, the attic windows, the front slider window, and the rear door. Okay, those are recommending approval with final approval by staff. Approval as submitted would be the front, oh, that's the front porch repairs, I'm sorry. The Trex for the front porch decking. The concrete walk in the front. And the new landing and stairs in the rear. So the only thing actually that is any different from what they're asking for would be the windows, other than the attic and front slider. We're just asking for repair as opposed to replacement. And we've discussed that. So if they want to come up and talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, hi there, Mara Walsh, Tony Muscarella, our GC we're working with, and we've already made a lot of phone calls based on the list, so thank you so much. I think I called 4 of the window vendors. I believe one of them is coming back into town this week and hopefully able to come out. 2 of the others said they'll be able to come out in the next week or so.
Good.
Based on what we just heard on the last situation, I guess I'm a little bit worried and just want to ask if for some reason, and let's call it a 2-week period, we're at a point where people are not returning phone calls, we can't get anyone out. Is there someone we could reach out to say, listen, here's everyone we contacted and can you assist us, or someone on the staff, can someone else help us? Just to try to get those estimates or try to get someone to physically come out before the next meeting.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, then good.
So, yeah,
Okay,
just
yeah.
get a hold of me and we'll dig deeper
Okay,
into the
okay,
list of
Yeah,
people that we can maybe get a hold of for you, because we do have a few others. That's something we're really focusing on in our office, is training people. So there's beginning to be a little bit of a pipeline of some new people coming on. So,
Good.
yeah.
okay. Yeah, everyone was same responsive. They picked up the phone and I spoke with them on Friday and Saturday and they said they would get back in touch with me. I texted them today, so I'm all over it, but you never know,
Good.
people just get busy, so.
I
Okay,
did have a question on the windows as well.
sure.
So the vinyl windows that we plan on replacing, we would be replacing with a casement window to fit in time with the home.
That would be fine.
Would that be aluminum clad exterior, wood interior?
That would be the preference for that, but because they are vinyl, we do have this. I should have sent this to you and I didn't. It's in our, we have a little matrix of what can be approved by staff and what can't. So with vinyl windows in there, honestly, you could replace them with vinyl if you were of a mind to. That's up to you.
Okay.
Our preference always is a clad wood or a fiberglass.
Sure.
But the guidelines do allow replacement of vinyl with vinyl.
Understood.
So,
A back door as well, we don't have to do a wood door, we can do
No.
a composite door on that since it's not original.
right, it can be metal, it can be composite, whatever.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions?
I had a question on the front.
I,
Sure.
The front door we spoke about, on the site. So if we are having trouble, we may have to have the door dipped, which is an extensive process in order to change the stain color.
Mhm.
Would it be possible to submit a paint color to paint that front door as opposed to trying to restain it?
Yeah.
Because sanding it is not really an option with the amount of detail that's in it.
Right, yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If the
What colors are you
commission's
gonna
good
paint
with
it?
that.
What's that?
What colors are you going with?
Do the,
We've got a couple different,
we were going to go with the dark gray, but again, the house next door was on, other house, the other side is like a greenish color. So we're having to lean toward more of a blue, which is really pretty,
needlepoint
Needle
gray,
point.
navy for the house,
and then urban bronze.
for the windows.
Mhm. And then a lighter like Trex, like a neutral. Really
So
pretty.
the tricks would be a caramel.
Okay,
We haven't selected a front door color, but it would be a historical color.
Yeah,
We'd send it over for approval.
sure. Yep, do that. We can approve that as long as it's a historic color. We can approve it right away.
Perfect.
may I ask a question?
yes,
Deb, if I understand correctly, you are recommending that COA 20-25-001 regarding property at 217 West 10th Street be approved as set out in your report, staff recommendations, subsection 2 under motions, except for one. And which one is that?
Well, actually, I would recommend approving all of the recommended emotions. The only one that's different from the original submission is originally they asked to replace windows, all the windows. And then after we met on site and talked about it, they're willing to try to repair all the windows except the vinyl. So they try to repair all the original wood windows, which is what I'm recommending. And so if the commission would make a motion to follow the staff recommendations and approve those, I think that would be in order. And it would agree with what they're asking for, basically.
someone want to make that motion?
So, question for Attorney Steve Hill. So how would we go about wording that motion?
Just
I
like,
was just gonna
I
put
make a
with-
motion to approve as recommended by staff.
Gotcha. Okay, well then, on that matter, then I make a motion to approve as submitted by staff.
Would you add, please, the
Yes.
COA designation and the property at
I recommend, yes, I got you. I recommend approving as submitted COA 2025-001 as submitted by staff. Oh, let me get it. I'm sorry. 217 West
10th Street.
10th Street.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maintenance,
Yes, okay. So our first maintenance review is COA 2024-150 for 910 Washington Street. This was the replacement of the existing steel tile roof, as well as replacing the existing gutters. The original tile roof was replaced, I'm gonna say in the mid 2000s, if you can say something like that. And now, due to our hailstorm, they are requesting the replacement of the replacement roof. And staff recommended approval as it was a in-kind replacement because it is not the original roof. The next COA was our final COA for the year, 2024-150 for 426 East 9th.
151.
Which one? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, COA 2024-151 at 426 East 9th Street. And this was a roof replacement, replacement of gutters, replacement of the siding, replacement of one vinyl window, and replacement of the drip edge. And all of this was seen as a in-kind replacement and was approved by staff. With the last COA staff maintenance review was for COA 2025-002 for 908 Franklin Street. And this was the replacement of a alley side door, as well as painting, as well as a paint color that is on our pre-approval list. So this was also approved by staff.
Any questions? Somewhere here is my agenda. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. So we need to certificate of appropriateness in progress.
I'm trying to think of any kind of recent projects. I mean, with it being cold, I don't really have any updates other than they're continuing to repair the windows at 916 Pine Street. That project is coming along, at least on the outside. I don't know what the inside looks like, but that's probably the only one I'm aware of in terms of any kind of work happening right now, just because of the weather and the cold. I mean, not much is happening.
Sure. Okay. Any committee reports?
None.
Any old tabled business?
There is none.
Okay, we're in new business and we will go to number B, goals for 2025.
Well, that was kind of our hope for meeting at 5, so which part of it includes some of the stuff that we have listed below. So it's just, I'm a goal setter and I like to see that happen, and we try to facilitate that. That's part of our contract, Indiana Landmarks, with the cities that we work with, is helping for planning for the coming year. So I guess we could look maybe at some of the things that are on this list as things that should happen or could happen. Specifically, we talked about the door hangers, and I think that's a great project for this year. Everybody seemed to be happy with that. One thing is, Kyle and I looked at these, we thought the whole back side is blank. So we might consider printing two-sided so they get plenty of information. And then we have to think about how we distribute them as well as how they get printed. So those are some things.
Is that for Michigan City?
Yeah.
Can I say, oh, that's so cool.
So we'll get them done professionally. So they cut the hole nice and round instead of my daughter, who was in a hurry, whacking them out. But
oh, wait, this was done by your daughter? Oh,
be nice.
pretty good. No, pretty good. Okay. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I could see us maybe on the back putting dates for when we meet, like information about the commission. So yeah.
And probably the website when it gets updated.
Yes. And is that something that we would want to put, like we do have the website on the front, what it is, but do we want like a QR code that they could scan? Would that be?
All I can
More
tell you is
Yeah, to take you right to our site and
Yeah.
or our page, yeah.
And maybe include a little map of the districts.
Good idea. Oh, that's good. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be found with the link. I mean, it might be hard to put a map on
It
the
could
back
be.
in terms of how blurry it could
but
be.
if they had the link.
If they had the, yes,
yeah,
if they
like-
had a link
Mhm.
to the map,
Yeah.
that would work a lot better than.
Well,
they-
they can give the general outline of the districts,
Yeah.
so give people some idea, so they
Yeah,
know.
roughly where they are. So. And then, yeah, door hangers obviously need to be hung on doors, so we have to think about how that works. There are hundreds of properties.
Do we have a count of how many doors?
What is that number? I should know that.
I should do.
I do know that
I don't
some of the
right now.
high schools have children that are young adults that have to do service, community service. That maybe we could contact the high school in Marquette and see if maybe they have students that would be willing to go and hang them in neighborhoods.
That might be a good committee to form in the,
That's a good idea.
we could have a couple people that would map out
Mhm.
sections, and because you're gonna have to track section by section
Right.
what gets done.
Mm-hmm.
And we may have to have some adults to drive them too, because all of the kids I know that are on these don't have driver's license, but
I mean, the nice part about the districts are they are quite walkable. If you started at 4th Street, you're just walking from 4th Street to 11th Street. So I mean, it's pretty much once you get started. I mean, especially in Elston, it's pretty walkable if everyone just kind of takes a block or so and you just move.
you could start at 11th and 4th and meet in the middle.
You
There
could
you
as
go.
well.
So are you volunteering to be heading up the committee?
I could take that on. Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be great. Okay.
Thank you, Pat.
I'll do a little work on something for the back and send that out to you during the month, see what you think. Printing wise, do you know what, we have a teensy budget, right?
Well,
Probably not enough for printing.
no, especially in color. You'd be surprised how expensive color.
I can only.
In the words of our wonderful mayor, I ain't too proud to beg. So if we gotta find resources,
Yeah.
I can look into doing that.
Okay. I will write that down, and when I have something a little more firm next month, maybe you can get some funding for that, figure out what that's gonna look like. So Anthony will worry about the dollars, Pat will worry about the logistics. Okay, great. All right, so there's one thing down. One thing that's coming up that's not on our list anywhere else because it's a fairly recent development. We've been talking for some time about realtor training. And so that's something that Indiana Landmarks is tackling this year as a project, is doing realtor training for continuing education credit units, whatever they call it. And so I think we have a program, we just need to bring it up to date. It's not been used in probably 10 years or more. So we're working with a realtor in South Bend to get that up and running. And I think the pilot project will happen here in LaPorte County. So that is coming. That'll teach them hopefully in that hour, whatever we have, it'll be talking about National Register, local register, the benefits of that, why it's really a selling point and not a detriment. Architectural styles, because sometimes people don't know how to write up about different houses. So just to make them more informed and help them do their job better. So that's something that's coming. Another thing that we're working on right now, as we've talked to other commissions and people in my position around the state, we find there's a lot of variation in how people are being trained. Most recently, as Anthony came on, we did probably the best onboarding we've done for a while. So we need to do much better. And so something we've been considering, and I think we're going to start moving ahead with this, is developing a video program, little short mini courses that people can take. They'll be, available whenever you want to take them. They'll be interactive, so there'll be questions involved. We'll get different people, so you're not just listening to me or somebody like me from around the state. We'll try to get people that are specialized in that particular area, but still make it interesting. That's our goal. So there'll probably be like 6 or 7 of these that people will need to take. We may have everybody do it initially just so you've all got the same thing, but then going forward, every time a new person is coming, we'll be able to
That's a great idea.
have them hit the ground running.
If you're going to that much effort and extent, would they be useful to put a link onto the website so the public can view them as well?
They
If you
could
make
be.
it general enough, I mean, not so.
I think they're going to be kind of specific. Actually, we did have that conversation in our larger group, but we felt like we really need to have our commission members trained more in the COA process. So in the guidelines and how we look at those, a little more on preservation law and that sort of thing. Some of them would be good for both.
But if you could include a few general ones for the
Yeah.
public, to say what is historic district, why is
Right.
it important, what's the benefit to your properties,
Yeah.
general information things, and as long as the city would approve putting a link on the
Mhm.
webpage whenever they get that up.
That would be good. Yeah, I would say at least 2 of them that I know right now, and we're still in the talking phase, so we're not 100% sure on the exact topics, but I would say at least 2 of them would be good for anyone. Some are just more specific about how to run a meeting and that kind of thing. So, okay. And that is something, as we get into it, we may be coming around to all of our commissions and asking to increase our contract in the next year to cover that. But we're not talking lots of money, maybe $500 or something like that, because there will be some costs. We want to get it done professionally, so it's really good. So more info to come on that. And then we want to look at public workshops. We did the windows last year, and I think that was pretty well received. And that's also part of our contract, is to help with education in the community. So do you have any thoughts? Everybody's starting to book things, and I'd like to get in there before all the speakers are booked. Anything you'd particularly like to see? I think we've done windows, we've done masonry, plaster.
We did the lead, the
lead,
materials.
Yes, in LaPorte, they did that last fall, which was an interesting one on lead and asbestos and hazardous materials in general. That was a good one.
Yes. Can you come up?
Good afternoon.
Hi.
My name is Danny Armstrong with Armstrong Construction and Restoration. One idea I have, which is I'm already involved in, is solar, new energy resources. There's a lot of information that's out there that the public needs to understand about our new energy resources that's out here, classes that are available that students don't know about. NAACP has a program on the west side that I teach at also. I myself is very interested in starting a program with NCCER, which is a program which would be non-union, 1 year at a time. I'm not sure if anyone know of this, but it's called NCCER. We get our card. It's a 1 year increment of an apprenticeship program where it's nationally, worldwide. This program is going to start up. I did mine in Chicago. Okay. And I think we should bring it here to Indiana to educate the students here. I would like to start this up, being the instructor. I'm already hitting this up. And excuse me 1 minute, this is off the head. So anyway, NCCER is a 1-year increment program for electricians, carpenters. I'm a carpenter myself, 24 years experience. Of course, I work for Ton and Blank, but now I work for myself. I gave them 5 years. I'm worldwide. I started in Wisconsin, but back to the subject. NCCER is a program that allowed the students to get their trade 1 year at a time. So at that point, I can install doors as a 1-year carpenter, and instead of having to go the whole 4 years to get my journeyman certificate, I can be a 1-year carpenter with an NCC certified certificate worldwide to be a 1-year carpenter or a 1-year electrician. And I can, of course, things happen in our personal life. So at that point, maybe I can't complete the 4 years right now. So I take off for 6 months or whatever. I can go do my 2 years later. I started again. It's in increments of a year instead of increments of 4-year journeyman apprenticeship, which what I went through, which is a struggle for some people in so many ways. So at this point, I myself, Danny Armstrong Sr., would like to head up some kind of program to get this here in Indiana so that we can educate our students on NCCER. Everyone don't go to college. I went to college. I'm a college dropout, trade school graduate. I'm still doing continuous education all the time, working with NCCER. That's one of the programs. Working with NAACP, that's another one. North Central, I do the handicap ramps here for the last 3 years. There's so much I do to help out the community, but I can't do it alone. I need help from you guys to help me fund this program, start this program, get it here in Indiana to educate these students so that they can make a decent dollar and not just be out here in the streets. We need some place for these students to have lab, or even, like I said, get this program started here instead of going all the way to Chicago. Like I said, my name is Danny Armstrong Sr. Pastor Hurt knows me. I'll be here in and out. Whatever we can do to get this going, I'd like to get it going.
I would make a recommendation. Have you tried talking to the city council as well, or like going to one of their meetings? And
I'm all over all of it. I've spoken to the mayor. She knows that what I want to do. So I'm here now today to let everybody else know.
Great.
thank
So-
you. We appreciate
That's
that.
exciting.
On what you said, that's one of the programs we need to start, which is New Energy. That's where
Right,
we're
solar,
looking at right now.
yeah, that's an important thing. So,
Thank
yeah,
you for your
Thank
time.
you.
sure. Thank you.
All right, everybody have a good day. Danny Armstrong Senior, Armstrong's Construction. Please support me.
Okay, thank you.
Good night. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Everyone have a good night too.
Okay, other thoughts on workshop?
Are there any
ideas?
workshops that do address energy efficiency in a historical?
I think we could find that. I think that's a good idea.
A big issue that we run across.
I think that would be good. And as I sleep in a very cold bedroom in an old cold house, yes, I'm inspired right now to get some answers. So, okay, energy efficiency and such things. That sounds good. A second topic? We just want to aim for one this year.
I think that would be good, and it gives us time. If we think of
Something
something
else. We
in
can do
between the
that.
meeting, we can bring it.
We've had some,
Okay.
I think a couple of years ago, we had some bank representatives about some financing for
Yes,
some
we did.
repairs.
Horizon Bank came and gave their presentation, which is always good. Yeah. Because those are some opportunities that a lot of people aren't aware of, and especially targeting people at lower incomes and.
So your market is how to get money for your repairs.
Right,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, aren't there
Of a full
grants
house.
too?
Yes.
So we should, yeah, maybe incorporate like a grant information
Mhm.
along with.
We could do that, yeah. Yeah, that is a very good idea. We had one in LaPorte a couple years ago that was all focused on different grant opportunities and things like that. So maybe we could coordinate that with the gal from Horizon Bank. Yeah,
I emailed out right before the meeting.
I saw there was an email and I didn't read
I
it.
didn't get it.
So whatever. CDBG.
Okay.
Okay. Did you read them?
You want to tell us what it says?
The paper.
Okay, we'll send it.
But it's government funding, community development block grants for
Mhm.
owner occupied rehabilitation programs. So there's grants and funding and financial assistance for some of that for owner occupied homes. And that's under the auspices of the state lieutenant governor. So it's the government type.
I mean, my understanding is, well, let's see. I know we're a part of the community block grant program. Okay. I think me and Deb.
I haven't looked into it, so I don't know if it applies directly to homeowners or if it's through the municipality, if they have to be signed up and then pass the funds along through, but we work with the city if necessary.
So we do have the CDBG. We have a coordinator here with the city who does this. Me and Deb, we had been forwarded something similar to this in terms of when we started to look at funding for the historic preservation plan, but then when we started to talk with the Okra representative, it seemed that
We didn't qualify.
we didn't quite qualify.
And I don't remember the exact conversation of why, but we did not qualify. But there are some CDBG projects definitely that happen here,
Oh, yes.
but
And I've
Just
seen some
certain
things in the past, but this is a new email that was specifically addressed owner occupied rehabilitation program. So it almost looked like it might be a new
it might
funding
be.
project with the new administration or something. So be
I'll look
worthwhile
at
looking
that.
into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I mean, because, I mean, I know at the city level, we do a lot of roof replacements. We do a lot of dealing with, heating and cooling in terms of water heaters and the ADA, kind of how Mr. Armstrong talked about, in regards to, ramps and electricity. So I know at the city level, we are using funds like this. But I have a very limited knowledge of programs like, unfortunately like this, because I don't deal with them on a day-to-day basis.
I will delve into that and see what's involved there. Okay, let's see. Another thing I'd like to do with you guys this year is look over our guidelines. We have had them now for 3-4 years. There's definitely some things that Kyle and I have found as we've worked through various COAs that need
Updating, maybe some
Yeah.
rewording, maybe even, adding some wording or clarification in terms
Right.
of just different aspects, and maybe you guys even have ideas of changes that maybe even the community would like to see, if it's, dealing with windows or certain types of materials that we might want to add to our list of pre-approved.
Who is our city council liaison now? Is it still Greg?
Yes, still great.
So maybe if we could get some time to work with him through the city council with the potential city ordinance amendments, some changes,
I mean,
long-term planning.
yeah, I mean, long-term wise, yeah, I mean, our design guidelines is not is approved by you guys, so.
Not the design guidelines, but city ordinance provisions.
Yeah, absolutely, long-term.
Yeah,
wise.
that's
We could
something.
look at that.
Category of issues.
Yep, Greg can help with that. Yep. Another thing I like to do with the guidelines, they were never really completed. They need a cover page and maybe a little introduction. So think about that. Different towns have different things they put on their cover, whether it's, several buildings or what you have in mind. But think about that. We'll talk about it more in another month or so. But I'd like to see that look really nice when people click on that and they see something and it says Michigan City Historic District Guidelines. Yeah, so just think about
In that regard, if you have a list of approved COAs from past years, if there's a nice project that would look good, maybe get a picture of something that's been
That's
approved.
true. Yeah, that's a good thought. So everyone just think about that for another month. Last year, we had a couple opportunities for HPC roundtable meetings where it was just commissioners. We had one here where we talked about de-designation. There was one in Valparaiso about National Register, I think, nomination. And then there was one in LaPorte about code enforcement, working with historic preservation. So, we've had mixed reviews on that, and we're trying to mix it up a little bit, make it more interesting. So this year, the first thing we have planned for y'all, I just got confirmation from the property owner, is a meeting in New Carlisle at the Old Republic, great old brick building on the east side of town. It is a wonderful save, and the owners would be happy to host commission members there, get to tour their house, which is phenomenal. We'd have some food and beverages, and then we talk just briefly. We'll have somebody come in and talk about new construction and appropriate design and that sort of thing, because I know we have a couple of those coming before us before too long here. This is a little bit different, but they put in a new garage, detached, all about the design, the materials, the positioning of it on the lot, that kind of thing. I think it would be a good place to have that. So keep that in mind. It will either be this spring or it'll be late in the fall. They host weddings there in the summer. So that's coming up. I'll leave the outreach for another time. That's too long. So last thing I'll talk about is the CLG application, which is super close to being done. So thank you, Anthony and Pat, for getting your resumes in. Wonderful.
It was a couple of days past the first of the year, but it was still at the beginning.
It was still at the beginning of the year. And Pat was super prompt. She won the race there. So that was good. Thank you. I think right now, all we're waiting on, I had a question about code of conduct, if there actually is a formal code of conduct with the city.
I'll try to look into that, but I'm not aware of anything.
Code of conduct for our commission?
Yeah, and
I believe didn't you give me a code of conduct at my own print? I believe
I don't know what I gave you at this point.
I don't know. I think there is. I'll go back. And,
Okay, if you
I'll find it. And if it is,
because I know other boards and commissions have them. I mean, I believe city council and some other.
I have it.
Okay, if you find it, let me know and I could get it to.
Gotcha.
Then you can pass it on and we'll all try to behave.
Yes. So.
That'd be number one. Read the agenda.
So that's probably the biggest thing. Well, the biggest thing we're looking for right now is the mayor's support.
Yes.
So I've reached out to her in detail on what you all do and what we do, the staff, and the benefits that would come, particularly financially, with being a certified local government. So hopefully we get that soon. We'll get that application in, and I think we're good to go. What else do we have? Oh, you need to share numbers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so every year at the beginning of the new year, I tried to share the numbers of the previous year so you guys understand the impact that you guys are having on the historic district. So these numbers are a little rough. I tried to calculate them, but they don't seem to quite add up. So that's either my counting skills or I don't know. So in 2024, we, staff as well as the commission, reviewed 151 COAs, which is a new record that I am becoming aware of. So in that, 85 of those were reviewed by staff. 65 of them were reviewed by the commission. I know that does not equal 151, so that's where I'm questioning a little bit. So of those, 113 were approved. Let's see, where are we? 7 were denied. 16 were approved with conditions. And 4 were, and 4 of them, yeah. So that's the kind of the breakdown, as well as I'm sure all of you guys are wondering. So since the May 7th hailstorm, 57 of our COAs were a result of that. So that is, I think, a record in terms of a storm. And yeah, so based upon that, I don't know if we will beat that this year. Hopefully not, for Deb's sake, because
Absolutely.
if we hit 100, I think that would be
That would be adequate.
that would be nice.
Yes.
That would be fine. So
We would
that
have to get a cake if we hit 100.
That could happen.
it happened last year. It very well could happen again. So those are the numbers for 2024.
Thank you.
So let's see. So with the we had the CLG discussion.
Right.
Do we need to talk about the train station?
Did everyone get the article or the what Deb sent out to us about that?
So, yeah, just to review, I guess, there was concern about the design that's going up, and there was the thought that the openings on the front side, but also on the east and north side would all be long rectangular openings, which I would have to agree. I thought that too. But when I went back and looked at the documents, did a fair amount of research on it, I can see that when we had that early meeting in September where we just discussed design but didn't actually vote on anything, it was a special meeting that was called just for discussion. That is what the design looked like. But then later in September, when they came back with their COA application and revised drawings, they had changed it. And it looked in those drawings like what it looks now. So that was approved by the commission. And shame on us as staff for not catching it, but shame on everybody else for not catching it either. In the future, I think that's one thing I'm going to be really cautious about and advise whoever comes to replace Kyle that we need to be certain when revised drawings are submitted that there's a revision bubble drawn around everything that's changed. That's typical architectural practice. That did not happen. And that way we notice, because none of us have the time to sit and look and compare every single detail. So I think it's a learning experience. I think it's unfortunate, but the brick do help that are there.
I was just gonna say, I think because excuse me, I rode past the other day, and I think it looks so out of place now because everything else is not built around it. But I think once everything goes up and it's put together nicely, that it will look okay. And while it's not what we would have wanted, it would look better. Because I was trying to figure, I'm like, it'll grow on me, but it does. I can see how it's upsetting that you just you went around what we basically had said. So yeah, better, a lesson learned for next time.
Yes, exactly. That is true.
Yes. It's kind of like that 5 o'clock.
That stuck out to me. I'm sorry. That 5. It was like, wait, it's not 6 or 6:30. Why is it 5? So
okay.
Okay. So the next thing is the rules and procedures. So I included the updated document. So Steve and myself went over it. And so the things that were marked out were the things that he had recommended marking out. The things that are in this pinkish red, I was hoping that the color was going to look a little bit better, but those are added as added wordage.
Added,
Yeah, he added, those words were added,
everything that's red.
correct, was added. So it goes 1 through article, I think it's article 1 through 5, and then 5 through 12 has not been updated yet. That will be for the next meeting in terms of that section, and at that point, either I guess if we really wanted to, we could look at approving 1 through 5 now, or we can wait until we have the entire document and then make our approval at that point.
How does anyone feel about that?
I would suggest that we approve 1 through 5 tonight, just so we can have, because I know if anyone remembers, one of our friends came here and grilled us like I've never been grilled before about not being a proper governing body. So I think having that in place would suit us best, just in case anyone tries to say, well, you all aren't even operating correctly, or, to cover us. I feel like we should approve 1 through 5 tonight and then come back 6 through 11 next month.
And even if we do approve the first section, we could always approve after approving the first section, and then the second section, we could, in theory, we could approve the entire thing once it's completed, and then at that point, then we would put the final amended date as the final.
Madam President,
Yes,
this is a perfect time for me to note that in Article 4, Section 1, there's a typographical error where the words "as required by law" is repeated twice. So the final form should have that phrase taken out. And in Article 4, Section 4, there's a word affiliative, which is a typographical error. It should be affirmative. And I would ask that those 2 changes be made.
So I'm sorry, I have affirmative on mine. Or wait.
Think
No, I don't.
firm, just
The next line down.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm sorry. But yeah.
it's hard to see with the red. Okay, so
It's the second attempt at affirmative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so Anthony, are you making a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve articles 1 through 5, or 1 through 4, excuse me, with the
5.
1 through 5, I'm sorry, with the
Approve the amendments to Articles 1 through 5.
yes, and then also to take out the second as required by law. Am I correct? And the word affiliative in Section 4, or I'm sorry, Article 4, Section 4.
Make the word be affirmative.
Replace it, yeah.
Replacing it with the word affirmative.
Then I have a question. As I heard the motion, it's to approve the amendments, but were these rules ever adopted to begin with? If I remember right, I thought, Deb,
I don't
that you
know.
said that they weren't.
I don't know if they ever,
I don't think we were ever
I
able
don't
to
know if
prove
we
that.
ever were able to actually accomplish that. I mean, that was before I was here.
Minutes were not well taken at that time, and we could not prove that.
Well, we can approve these amendments to this document when we finish up the next articles, then we can approve or ratify the entire set of rules. Would be one option if you want.
Does that sound okay, Steve?
Well, I think it's just a matter of preference. I thought that the thought was just to get this approved and in place. If that's the case, then I would just approve the rules of procedure, Articles 1 through 5, as shown and corrected. Mr. Granquist is suggesting that we could approve the redlined amendments as part of this document and then have another session when we have it all and prove it all at once. It's up to you all.
Well, we could approve the whole thing as this document as revised, and then adopt it formally, and then we can make amendments next time. Because if it has not been approved, then in its entirety, then we can do the whole thing now.
Well, Mr. Hicks, that satisfies your concern, right? You wanted to get this on the books, as it were.
Yes.
That is correct.
Then a way to do that would be to approve this document as submitted to you with the red line changes. And then just that, approve the whole thing, Articles 1 through 11. And then at our next meeting, we can approve changes to it that will come out for Articles 6 through 11. I think that's what Mr. Granquist was getting at.
Yes.
Alrighty, I make a motion to approve the document as submitted with the red line changes to Article 4, Section 1 and Article 4, Section 4. Yes.
It would be the entire document, Articles 1 through 11.
The entire document, Articles 1 through 11.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that. Or
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you for your work on revising and preparing this.
So the next thing on the agenda is the historic landmark ordinance. I don't think it was included in your guys's
No.
packets, but just something that I think we're hoping to try to keep moving forward and not allow it to die, to try to get it on the books. Unfortunately, Greg isn't here, but I think for the next month, maybe we'll have staff kind of review it, and if there is any kind of changes, bring it to that meeting, and if not, try to move forward with it in terms of getting it in front of city council, so we could at least try to start with first reading, because I think that's important to try to get this at least in the beginning stages of the process. And at that point, then after first reading, then if a workshop is necessary at that point, then have that workshop and then go from there.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. We have no public, so there's no public comment. No, there's nothing. Okay. Any comments from the staff or the commission?
I guess I have comments. I mean, so as you guys have been made aware, and now the public will be made aware. Unfortunately, this will be my last meeting here with the City of Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. It has been a great honor to serve you guys since I started in July 2022. We, as a commission, as well as staff, reviewed 296 COAs, which I think probably beats out any of my predecessors.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's been an honor to serve you guys. And it really, I'm gonna miss you guys a lot. I really am.
Well, we're going to miss you too, because you've always been easy to talk to.
Yes.
You always get back to us, and we appreciate that. And I'm grateful that you're gonna be still working with Deb.
Oh, me too. And I know she
Me
is.
too. Yes, I'm gonna miss him here because it's so busy here, but we also would like him to not have a breakdown either for
Yeah.
workload. So I know it's a good move for him and be happy to work with him in Elkhart because the planner there needs help. He's
Yeah,
very
he does.
short staffed. So yeah, it's exciting times.
You'll get
Wish
to
you the
lay
best.
back.
Really, wish you the best.
Thank you.
Yes, we do. Any other comments?
Yes, the other comment is our next meeting will be February the 24th at 6 o'clock. Make
There
sure to
could
get
change. I'll let you know
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, we don't want to do that to
But-
any of you again.
Sorry.
We're sorry.
Uh.
Well, some of us are sorry. Some of us don't have to be.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all and have a good night. Be safe. Do not speed home, Pat.